Hi there, this is Courtney, and I'm here tonight to talk about mindset and your money. And so this has come up a lot lately with some different people that I know and that I love. And I've been getting a lot of comments that a lot of my yoga students actually, they follow my yoga channel and then they end up finding all of my personal finance information. And they've commented about how much it's helped them. And so I wanted to talk a little bit about that mindset and how I think about money and my why and why I live the way I do. I've been on the simple living path since I was in my 30s and really before that. But before that, I didn't really have a concept of what I was trying to do. I was raised by Depression era grandparents, and a lot of people in my family were just kind of bootstrappers. We grew a lot of our own food. My family hunted and fished, and we're from the rural South, so that's just really common here. But also my grandparents, we never wasted, and when they passed away, they left me a nice little inheritance. I was in my 20s, which allowed me not to work for about 4 years when my kids were little, and I was so grateful for that. And I kind of think that sparked, I took that money that I got from them, and it wasn't a lot. It was enough to replace my salary for 4 years is what it was. So I took that money and I divided it by 4 years. I stayed home with my kids. I went back to college as well and was a part-time student. And I budgeted out that money so that I could live for 4 years. Sorry guys, I'm having some major hair issues tonight. So I budgeted out that money and I just stayed home with my kids for 4 years. And I had a purpose, my purpose was that my kids were more important to me than going out and buying a brand new fancy car. So, the problem is that the average American household makes $60,000 a year, but we're buying cars that are $30,000 to $40,000 to $50,000. That's ludicrous. I mean, the average person should, if you should get to a point where you can pay cash for your cars. So, and I say that, and I guess it sounds a little hypocritical because the last couple of cars I have had, not the most recent one that my husband and I bought for him, but I did put a big down payment. I did get a loan, but I paid them off in 3 years in full. And so, but I know now, and I'm learning more, that it is good to try to, and I'm saving right now to have money to buy the next car used so that I don't have to ever have another loan again. Because by God, this has been hard and I don't want to go through this ever again. And when you look at how much interest you're paying the bank every month, you'll be horrified. Like our house payment, over almost half of our house payment goes to interest every month. And so one thing that we're doing is we are making huge chunks. We work, we save money, and we make huge chunks on our mortgage every couple of months. And hopefully we will have it paid off in 2 years. I will be 50. My husband will be 62. And that's our goal, to get it paid off. So let's talk a little bit about the money mindset. So the way that we think, we process things through our eyes, nose, mouth, ears, touch. That's how we process the world. And y'all forgive me, my dogs are having a big old time outside. So after we take things in, our brain processes it and we think about how we feel about it. I'm particularly thinking about shopping, not just going to a store, but scrolling through Amazon, Facebook ads, all of that. And then we move through the world with our eyes, our mouth, the way we speak, our arms, what we look at, where we walk, where we drive, what we do. And that's how we process the world. So whatever is coming in is going to affect how we behave. And so you have to think about what you're putting in your brain and what you're consuming, what kind of information you're consuming every day. And then you need to think about, what are your goals? So when you get some money, a large amount of money, I was about to tell a story on somebody and then I thought better of it. You get a large amount of money and you have to make choices, right? So you need to first identify your why. What is your why for wanting to be financially free or have a simpler life? Maybe you don't like clutter. Maybe you want to retire early. Maybe you don't want to have to work so hard at a job you hate. Okay, first you identify that, or maybe you want to know that if you lost your job, you could still survive. Okay, so you think about that, and then you think about, well, what is that going to look like? And that might mean that you had an emergency fund, you had no debt, including your house was paid off, and you had a certain amount of money in the bank, and you only meant you had to work like a little bit to make ends meet, right? I'd highly recommend the book, Your Money or Your Life. That's a great book for really understanding this. So some things that you can do, I just want to give some helpful hints, is after you identify your why, you want to set some short-term goals and some long-term goals, and you need to have a plan. Like, I'm starting at A, I'm going to end at G, okay? And then there's Z down here. That's the long term. What do I need to get to G? And then you need to have a plan. And so when you are on that plan, it's also good if you have an accountability partner, but you ask yourself, do I need this? If the answer is no, then you say, do I want it? If the answer is yes, you have to ask yourself, does it help me meet my short-term or long-term goal? If the answer is no, then you have to ask yourself, is it worth it? And then give yourself some pause. After you ask those questions, you're probably going to have a pretty good feeling about it. And then some things, practical suggestions I would give you is to think about, is there something that you could do instead of buying something? This year, with me not buying any clothes, it's actually been super freeing. There have been some frustrating moments where I've had to go into Target for something not related to clothing, and I'll see something like, oh, that's super cute, but I don't buy it. It's really helped me get dressed with what I have. I just don't have to, I don't need a lot. It's been extremely freeing, actually. And it's made me see that I'm super creative with clothes, and I'm wearing things that I didn't wear before because I have to get creative. One thing I see a lot of people doing nowadays is buying a lot of subscriptions and courses and things like that. Some of my dear loved ones, and I've been guilty too, of I get the Kindle and the Audible, and we get the Spotify, and we have all of these things. While you're on this path, think about, can you cut out some of that stuff? And can you find that information for free? There are tons of free podcasts out there, books. There's ways to get all of that stuff at the library for free. Think about if there's a way you can do it for free. Let's say you have an expensive gym membership. Could you work out at home? Or is there something you could do at home? Could you go for walks? Could you do yoga videos? Could you do YouTube videos? Get that advertising out of your life. Think of ways to minimize that advertising and also to minimize your shopping habits. And once you do that, you'll be less tempted to buy. Also, let's say you get some money and you have $1,000 and you have your $500 emergency fund, and you put $400 on your debt, and then you have $100 that's a little bit of spending money. That's what I suggest to people sometimes. Take a little bit for fun money or for something you really want. The rest is on debt, and then the rest is your emergency fund. Good luck to you, and please subscribe if you like these videos. This is Courtney Butler Robinson for what will soon be the Resourceful Life, but is the Deliberate Life now. Thank you.